Welcome to Mystic Mike's MMA predictions. I've broken down all 13 fights and I've included timestamps below. So for Moreno versus Urseg in Mexico City, you guys are going to be well prepared with your best bets, predictions, and breakdowns before the fight. So you guys will have a little bit of extra knowledge before going into the market. Hope you guys enjoy. This is purely entertainment purposes, not financial advice, but you know, take it as you will. I hope you enjoy. All right, let's get into it. All right, starting with the first fight, Austin Hubbard versus MarQuel Mederos. Both guys fighting, training out of Denver, Colorado. Austin Hubbard is more of a complete MMA style fighter, whereas MarQuel Mederos is more of a Muay Thai based fighter. So what to look for in this fight. We have Austin Hubbard as an underdog. He's going to be looking to get some takedowns against Markel Mederos, and he could probably squeak by a nice decision win if he minds his P's and Q's. But my official prediction will be Markel Mederos getting the win by knockout or decision, probably in the second or third round. He's going to be looking for that knockout, and Austin Hubbard's going to really be trying to test his grappling, test his takedown defense. But Mederos is on a little bit of a win streak right now. He's an up and coming fighter, and I think he's going to get the win against the veteran of Austin Hubbard. But don't be surprised if Austin Hubbard comes in with a decision win. Me personally, I've taken a little bit of an arbitrage bet here. I've taken Austin Hubbard by decision and Markel Mederos by KO or decision over 1.5 rounds. If you guys want to do the same, we'll cover your ass if either event happens, and it's a good little arbitrage bet if you guys want to make that. Next up, Jamall Emmers versus Gabriel Miranda. So Jamall Emmers, a little bit of a veteran now. He has a couple wins in the UFC, 7 KO wins. He has a clear striking advantage against Gabriel Miranda, where Gabriel Miranda is very clearly just a submission artist, and if he doesn't secure the submission, he just loses all his fights. So he loses by KO or decision every single time. If the fight goes the distance, he usually loses, and his striking defense is not that good either, only defending 38% of the shots coming towards him. Not, like I said, 94% of his wins come by sub. I think he has only one win by decision, and that was like before he entered the UFC. So if Gabriel doesn't secure the submission, Emmers was probably going to win this fight. And I have Emmers winning by KO in round two, but Emmers could win by KO like round two, round three, or decision win. If you guys are making a bet on this fight, you could bet Emmers KO or decision over 1.5 rounds. Be a very solid bet. Or you could arbitrage that bet with Gabriel Miranda sub, but I wouldn't really recommend it because I don't think Gabriel Miranda's wrestling is good enough to take down Jamall Emmers. Jamall Emmers, he minds his space, he minds his range, and he stays away. He's going to be able to keep this into a striking battle, and he's going to win. All right, Rafa Garcia versus Vinc from Hell Pichel. So, um, this is a little bit of a weird fight. I mean, Vince Pichel, he's 42 years old now, and Rafa Garcia is 30 years old, so well into his he's in his UFC prime. Yeah, fighters with a more than 10-year age gap usually win 59% of the time, and young fighters who get a takedown over a 40-year-old fighter uh, have an 80% win rate, and Rafa Garcia usually gets a takedown in mostly all his fights. So just with those percentages alone, you should be like, oh, okay, Rafa Garcia is going to win this fight easily. And then you also have UFC fighters aged 40 years plus win 37% of the time. This is from every weight class. It's even worse in the lightweight division. And fighters coming off a more than 1 year layoff lose 63% of the time. So if you add all of these stats and percentages together, Vince Pichel has a very, very, very small chance of winning this fight. I mean, I haven't even seen much power from him in his last few fights. He hasn't even had a knockout in more than 5 years. So, like they say, power is the last thing to go. This guy hasn't had power for years. So, I mean, when was his last knockout? His last knockout win, oh my god, guys, was in 2011. So, Vince Pichel, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm not giving you much of a chance here. We're going to lock in Rafa Garcia. And I think Rafa Garcia is going to get it done by decision. So Vince Pichel, even though he's doesn't have much power in his hands anymore, he's still pretty durable. His last two losses are coming by decision. Rafa Garcia, he's a very technical fighter, pretty good, and many of his wins come by decision. 40% of them actually come by decision. So we're gonna lock in Rafa Garcia by decision. Julia Polastri versus Lupita Godinez. Lupita Godinez, the Mexican Canadian, she's been in the UFC for quite a while now. She has 100% win rates in fights where she lands more than two takedowns. So I think she is going to land the takedowns against Julia. Lupita is a pretty good wrestler, but for some reason in her last two fights, she just decided to throw that away and have a striking battle. I mean, one of the fights she was fighting Mackenzie Dern, which is a jiu-jitsu specialist, so I understand not wanting to go to the ground with Mackenzie. And the other one is Verna Janjadova, which is also a very good jiu-jitsu artist. But against Julia Polastri, Julia doesn't have too much of a submission. What do you want to say? She's not the best submission artist in the world. I mean, she's decent. She has a couple submission wins, but she's no Mackenzie Dern. She's also taking this fight on short notice. Short notice fighters win only 37% of the time, and like we have this other stat here: veteran experience, 65% win rate. She's a veteran. Julia is not, and on Tapology, she has an 84% of the Tapology community predictions taking her to win and predominantly by decision, which is how I have it as well. I think Lupita Godinez, if she implements her wrestling in this fight, she will win this fight by decision, and it's going to be a clear, unanimous decision, all three rounds going to Lupita. If she's going to be stupid and try to use her boxing, it could be a little bit closer, but if Lupita secures those takedowns, she secures more than two. She wins 100% of the fights where she secures more than two. I think she would win this fight. All right, Melquizael Costa versus C-Rod. So Melquizael Costa a month ago just fought Andre Fili and submitted him with a guillotine. He's fighting again now a month later, actually snapping Andre Fili's 10-year-long no submission streak. Um, C-Rod, he's a bit of a slow starter. You know, usually loses round one, but he's known for derailing hype trains, and maybe we could see him derail the hype train of Melquizael Costa. So I have it listed here that Melquizael will probably win round one. He's a very explosive striker. He comes out fast. He comes out hard, and very likely he's going to win round one. So if you guys are betting on any apps, or you could bet like if he's going to win one round, you could definitely do that. And it's going to be just a free bet. I think he's going to definitely win the first round. 16 of 22 wins coming by KO, so he has a lot of power in his hands, man. But I don't think he's gonna be able to knock out C-Rod because C-Rod is a little bit more cerebral. He has a slight edge in striking accuracy. It's very small, I think by a couple percentage, but he has way superior grappling. I think if C-Rod is going to be able to take down Melquizael, avoid that guillotine that he got Andre Fili with, and take his back, he could probably win a nice decision here of 29-28 decision. You know, because I think he's going to lose the first round. McQuizel is going to come out hard. Also, keep in mind, guys, we are at elevation here. Mexico City is the highest elevation that the UFC goes to. Um, so it's possible for these guys to gas. Especially since, well, actually, McQuizel trains at Sao Paulo, so Sao Paulo has a little bit of elevation. Uh, Anyways, C-Rod, I'm going to take him to win this fight by decision. I think he's going to win round 2 and 3. Melquizael is going to gas out. And yeah, C-Rod should win by backpack or even a submission in round 2 or 3. But I think C-Rod's going to win this fight by decision. All right, we have Ateba Gautier making his UFC debut against José Medina. So if you guys could see the stats and the notes I have listed here, this is not something you want to see if you're Jose Medina. 4-inch height advantage, 6.5-inch reach advantage. He's a younger fighter by more than 10 years, and he has 83% of his wins by KO. All right, guys, right away that screams heavy, heavy favorite, which he is. But I have found one inconsistency, one little thing that I think will really affect this fight. This is Gautier's debut in the UFC. He hasn't really fought any major competition. In his fight in the Dana White's Contender Series, he got a round 2 knockout with a left hook, and it was like 10 seconds into the second round. He looked pretty great in that fight. Jose Medina still hasn't won in the UFC. Actually lost his Dana White Contender Series fight and lost his UFC debut. But the thing is, Ateba Gautier trains at sea level. This fight here is in Mexico City, very high altitude. Jose Medina trains at elevation. He trains in Santa Cruz, Bolivia. So it's like, I think, 100 feet lower than Mexico City, which is nothing. And he has somewhat of a grappling advantage in this fight and a cardio advantage. He's gone 3 rounds way more than Ateba Gautier has. Ateba's on a 6 fight knockout streak or something like that, or 6 knockout streak, 5 knockout streak, something crazy. So the way I would bet this fight, if I had to bet this fight, I would bet Ateba Gautier to get a round 1 KO and then Jose Medina to get a decision victory. So if Jose Medina actually does this and fraud checks Ateba Gautier, it would be crazy. It would be a big upset, but I definitely think it's possible. But I mean, the odds are not in his favor. Ateba's probably going to win this fight, but if you have to see one underdog of the card win Saturday night, it might be Jose. All right, Edgar Cháirez versus CJ Vergara on the preliminary card. I think it's the last fight of the prelims. So Edgar Cháirez, he has a 4-inch reach advantage. Usually fighters with a 4-inch reach advantage win 70% of the time, and he has 100% finish rate. I think in the UFC he hasn't been able to secure a knockout, but he's been able to secure submissions and knockouts before he's gotten into the UFC before. He's like a Muay Thai Jiu-Jitsu style fighter. He picks his shots really well. I find he's a little bit technical, a little bit of a counter striker there, but he hasn't been able to get a decision win. Every time he goes to the judges, just can't get his way. In his last fight, he was starting to fade a little bit against Joshua Van, and he was gassing. So keep an eye on that since we are at Mexico City. Against CJ Vergara, pressure fighter, very high pace. He's gonna start off the fight really hard, and he goes the whole time. Like he doesn't stop. He's a good pace. This is gonna be a fun flyweight fight. But CJ Vergara gets clipped a lot. So what CJ is gonna have to do to win this fight is rush in, get in close, clip Cháirez. But if Cháirez could secure some sort of submission or something like that, it's gonna be hard for CJ. Overall, I see this fight going Cháirez's way, and I think he's going to get the first decision win he's ever gotten in the UFC. So overall, I think Cháirez is a little bit more well-rounded, but hopefully he's been training hard, man. Hopefully he has the cardio to go all 3 rounds with CJ, especially someone that's going to bring a really high pace. But overall, I think Cháirez wins this one. Ronaldo Rodríguez against Kevin El Gallo Negro Borjas. So Ronaldo is somewhat of a hyped prospect, up and coming prospect in the UFC. 17-2. He has a lot of experience, but I think now he's only 2 fights into the UFC. Yeah, 2 fights into the UFC. He's pretty well rounded. He has some really good submission skills. He has good head movement. I really like his head movement actually. He has good evasive boxing. And he's going against a guy in Kevin Borjas. He's 0-2 in the UFC, but he does have somewhat of a slight reach advantage. Many people counting him out in this fight, and for good reason. I think Rodriguez is going to get this one done pretty easily, and Borjas is going to get sent back to Peru, and he's going to lose his UFC contract, I believe. So look for a round 2, round 3 submission by Rodriguez, and if he can't secure that, then I think he's going to get the decision victory. If Rodriguez wants to win this fight, he's going to take it to the ground and he's going to employ his game plan. He's going to evade all the big shots from Borjas. And he should win this one pretty easily. Honestly, at minus 150, it's a very tempting bet. I bet on him. I would bet on him if I were you guys. Yeah, that's my official prediction for this one. Ronaldo Rodriguez by submission or decision plus 1.5 rounds. All right, so second fight of the main card, we have David Martinez versus Saimon Oliveira. David Martinez now is making his UFC debut. He's somewhat of a hyped prospect. He has crazy KO power, this guy. And he's 7 years younger than Saimon Oliveira. He starts off really quick and he trains at elevation, so he's going to be really acclimated to the Mexico City elevation. This is not what you want to see if you're Saimon Oliveira, because now you look at Saimon Oliveira's notes. He has 0% takedown accuracy in the UFC, so he's gonna have to take down the striker if he wants to win, and he won't be able to do that because he has 0% takedown accuracy. He has a tendency to hunt for risky subs, so when he's getting shot on, he hunts for a guillotine or something like that, and he usually gets taken down because of that. He got taken down 11 times against Gravely. He also trains at sea level, so it would be favoring David Martinez if this fight goes more than 1 round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds, goes to this decision. Martinez went to decision in the Dana White's Contender Series, and he did pretty well. Like he has decent cardio, even for a knockout artist with crazy power. And Simon Oliveira is 0-2 in the UFC, just getting knocked out in his last fight 2 years ago. So he's also pretty inactive. This just screams Martinez round one knockout for me. I think they're setting this guy up. They're just putting this Brazilian on the card to get knocked out by the Mexican, young up and comer. David Martinez, he's probably going to get this knockout in dominant fashion. I'm looking for a Martinez round one KO. And if he doesn't get it, then he's just going to dominate the whole fight. He could take him down too. Like, he's going to dominate him. This is one of the most biggest locks on the card. Martinez KO round one. Let's do it. Now we have Raul Rosas Jr. versus Vince Morales. So Rosas Jr. This is another case of the young up and coming Mexican. They put him up against a random guy. Vince Morales, he's 0-2 in the UFC. So sorry, 0-2 in this run of the UFC. He's been in the UFC in the past, and he was 3-5 in the promotion. So he went 3-3 in the promotion, got kicked out. He came back, and now he's 0-2. He has a 65% takedown defense, which is not good when you're fighting someone like Raul Rosas, who shoots a lot and usually gets his takedowns when he shoots. 14-year age gap, biggest age gap on the card, and usually favors the younger guy than the veteran experience. Even though Vince Morales does have veteran experience, Raul Rosas still has. He's 10-1. He's been in the UFC now, I think, 3 years. He got in when he was 17. Yeah, almost 3 years he's been in the UFC. This kid, 5 fights in the UFC. He should easily win this fight. Easily, easily, easily. I think he's going to take him down. He's going to take the back. He could secure a submission. I have it as submission round one, but I could see the fight also going to the decision. I mean, Vince Morales is a pretty durable guy. Most of his losses are decision losses. So yeah, I think this is just going to be a dominant showing from Raul Rosas Jr. They're just putting him on here to win this fight, and Vince Morales is going to get sent home, kicked out of the UFC once again. Because once you're 3-6 in the UFC, sorry, you're not staying and you're not coming back. So this is Vince Morales' retirement fight. Raul Rosas is going to win this fight pretty easily, either by submission or decision. You could put the house on that. All right, Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer. So I have written in the notes "fat Mexican" for Kelvin Gastelum because he literally is. The guy's said it multiple times that he struggles with dieting, and he just can't stop eating his favorite foods. Which how can you blame him? I mean, Mexican food is freaking delicious. But he was a welterweight, and he lost actually against Joe Pyfer's teammate, Sean Brady, which Sean Brady just beat Leon Edwards dominant fashion. He's a great fighter, so there's no shame in losing to Sean Brady. But now you're fighting his bigger, scarier teammate. You really think you're going to win? He's moving up from welterweight to middleweight, and I think it's going to even be tough for him to make middleweight. The guy's pretty fat. I'm not going to lie. Um, but he has a freaking chin. You gotta give him that. So Joe Pyfer is gonna be very difficult for him to knock him out, even though he is one of the hardest hitters in the UFC. I see this like Joe Pyfer like breaking his hand against Kelvin Gastelum's face in like round one or round two, which could kind of affect the fight. But he also has a 3.5 reach advantage, 3.5 inch reach advantage, which usually fighters with that much of a reach advantage win 70% of the time. The only thing Kelvin has in his favor is his wrestling. I think Kelvin has better wrestling than Pyfer, and we saw Pyfer against Hermanson. When there's that threat of the wrestling, threat of the takedown, Pyfer just sometimes doesn't know what to do. But I'm gonna go with Pyfer here in this fight, and I'm gonna also bet him to get over 75 strikes total in this fight. So historically, Pyfer usually gets around like 10 to 25 fights because he usually knocks people out pretty early. But against Hermanson, I think he got something like 80 or 90 strikes, and he still lost that fight, and it was pretty low output. There's a 3-round fight against Kelvin. I think he's going to just be smashing him like a pinata. So just get all that candy out of that Mexican body. I'm going to bet Pyfer by KO round 3 or by decision. So if you want to do KO over 2.5 rounds, I see Kelvin just getting tired and quitting later on the fight, even though the guy's not known for quitting. He is 3-6 in his last 9 fights. This is not the Kelvin Gastelum of 2016, 2017. It's older, more, less less concentrated, less motivated. Kelvin Gastelum, now he's 33 years old, but he's has a lot of wear and tear on his body. He's been in a couple of wars, this guy. So hopefully the chin still holds up and he makes it over 2.5 rounds. I think you guys could all cash a nice bet on this. All right, Manuel Torres versus Drew Dober, guys. It's a close fight, but it's a good fight. I can't wait for this fight. The only thing is Drew Dober is not racially motivated this time, so it's a funny little joke. Drew Dober never lost to a black guy in the UFC, only in his UFC Ultimate Fighter. But he always wins against black guys. But Manuel Torres is not black, so he doesn't have the racially motivated powers. Drew Dober. Drew trains at elevation. He trains at Denver, Colorado, so he's gonna have the cardio to go all 3 rounds. Where Manuel Torres actually trains at sea level in Tijuana. So we could see him gas out. And that is actually what I'm going to go with. Even though Drew Dober is 1-3 in his last 4, I'm going to say Drew Dober is going to win this fight by knockout in round 3. Even though Manuel Torres, he has the reach advantage. Odds are kind of stacked against Drew Dober. He's a little bit older, 6 years older. But Manuel Torres just got knocked out in his last fight against Ignacio Bahamundes, and Drew Dober, I think he still got it, man. He looks good. I like the way he's talking at the interviews. He looks really confident, and the guy's always in shape. He's always game to fight. He's always ready. He prepares really well, and I think Drew Dober is going to get a nice knockout in round 3 and top off that fight there. Last fight of the night, and it's a good one. I mean, I love flyweight fights. They're always so fun to watch, especially when you got Moreno and Steve Urseg in there. Steve Urseg, like, people thought he was going to be this champion. Like, he almost won against Pantoja. Just some low IQ moments. Like, at the last round of the fight, like, he shouldn't have shot for that takedown. If he didn't shoot for that takedown, he was probably going to win the fight. He had some pretty low IQ moments in some of his other fights as well. I hope he learned when to shoot the takedown. I mean, listen, I'm not a professional fighter. I mean, obviously Steve Urseg's way more technical, way better than me, but like, I'm being objective here and saying, like, his timing on his takedown shots are not the greatest sometimes, and he also just came off a KO loss. He's fighting a guy in Brandon Moreno. He's gonna have the hometown advantage. He's gone 5 rounds multiple times before, especially at elevation. Urseg has only gone 5 rounds once, and he looked really good, but that was at sea level. But he has the cardio. Urseg definitely has the cardio, and he's definitely a legit contender for the belt. But Moreno, I think, just has more experience, and in these fights where they're gonna make it a dog fight, Moreno's just such a gangster, man, such a badass. He goes all the way. He's very technical striker too. I don't see Moreno getting KO'd in this fight, which is Steve Urseg's path to victory. So I'm gonna go with Moreno to win this fight by decision, even though I think it will be close. I do think Moreno's gonna win the majority of the rounds and secure that decision victory. So I hope you guys enjoyed my breakdowns. I enjoy doing this, so just leave a little comment if you enjoy it. If you want me to continue doing this, I'm gonna do one every week. I'm gonna really make the time to do it, and hopefully you guys make some money tonight, man. I put a lot of time researching these fights, watching tape, making these bets. So I hope you guys enjoy it. All right, bye.